Lord, for your faithful people, life has changed, not ended. It's a beautiful prayer that is prayed in the midst of the funeral liturgy. I always find November to be a very profound month, a month in which we sort of step back and take a look at the bigger things in life, the larger realities that we often don't take notice of. You know, the world of nature is beginning its annual retreat into the long months of winter. Many trees have long lost their leaves. Bushes are stalks, and beautiful gardens have receded. Daylight saving time has ended, and our day is marked more by darkness. The other day it was 5 o'clock in the evening, and it felt like it was 9 o'clock at night. We also think about the reality of life and death. This past All Souls Day, we gathered for a beautiful liturgy, and you know, it's hard to always appreciate just the unrelenting reality of death and how it affects a parish. You know, we celebrated over 150 funerals last year, and in the midst of that, of course, there's been just the larger reality of the pandemic. You know, I saw yesterday in the news that we've now surpassed 5 million people have succumbed to COVID around the world. Over 750,000 Americans have lost their lives, and they suspect by the end of the year we'll be approaching 800,000 Americans who have died. And many early on in the pandemic died alone in nursing homes and in hospitals, further deepening the sadness and grief. I was in the South Vestibule the other day just looking at that beautiful shrine to the families that have lost loved ones this past year, and it struck me that, you know, this wasn't, 150 funerals. This was 150 people. These were grandmothers and grandfathers, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, best friends. Each one of those faces and those pictures tells a story of a person's journey through life, a journey that was filled with its own blessings and challenges. Each one of those faces was a person of faith, someone who in their own way tried to live out their relationship with Jesus Christ. And today, the liturgy invites us to pray in gratitude for the ways that God works in our lives. And sometimes it's in looking back that we become more appreciative of how God was working in our life, particularly at a time of struggle or challenge. Sometimes when we felt we were abandoned, we look back at it and we see how God was working through the love and support we received from others, through the many acts of kindness and generosity that helped us navigate a turbulent time in our lives, that those motivations were rooted in a person's faith and love of Christ. And today we hear the story of the leper who returns to the Lord grateful for having been cleansed, grateful for the chance to be returned to the community that he had been isolated from because of his illness. And the church invites us always to open our hearts to love and to opening doors of understanding and kindness. And as we appreciate how God is working in our lives, great things happen. Great things, marvelous things can happen when we are aware that God is all around us. And even in the sadness of death, we have been privileged to know a person who reflected Christ's presence in the world. Today, as we acknowledge our love of the Lord, we pray in gratitude for the gift of life and for the seasons of life that are always invitations to move closer to the heart of faith. Lord, for your faithful people, life has changed, not ended.
Thank you for joining us for this celebration of the Mass. This virtual Mass is broadcast to hundreds of people every day of the week. You know, over 100 years ago, the very first celebrations of the Mass took place on the second floor of the Glenview Public House. It's been inconceivable that 100 years later, we would be reaching so many people all over the world through this technology. If you'd like to support the ongoing broadcasts of OLPH's Masses, please go to our website, go to Give Central, and you'd be able to support the ongoing outreach of this virtual ministry. Thank you for your support. Most of all, thank you for joining us in prayer. God bless you.